You've probably heard about all the benefits of taking omega-3s, but the information out there can be confusing. My name is José Fortin. I'm a naturopath and a biochemist, and I'm here today to talk to you about a very nice supplement called Veg Omega-3. We hear a lot about cutting out bad fats from our diet for heart benefits, but there's also good fats that should be introduced. A lot of people do include good fats in their regular diet by consuming healthy foods, but some fats are harder to get in sufficient amount. If we look at the good fats in general, you have three categories: the omega-3, the omega-6, and the omega-9. The omega-9 usually comes from food such as olive oil, avocado, and some nuts, while the omega-6 will come from a variety of food like grains, cereals, a lot of different nuts, and we do have those two types of omega fairly easily through our diet. The ones that are a little bit harder to get are the omega-3s because the sources are more limited. We can get some from fish, seaweed, but also from flaxseed, but these are limited sources. People have more difficulty putting them regularly in their diet, and we do need all those omegas for healthy balance because they're essential to produce prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are hormones our body are producing to help control different functions such as high blood pressure, cholesterol, immune functions, inflammation. Some of them might be pro-inflammatory, some might be anti-inflammatory. So by having sufficient amount of all of those elements, we do help our body being healthier. It is important to keep a good balance between omega-3, 6, and 9. In the North American diet nowadays, because we add a lot of vegetable oils to all the prepared food, people have a tendency to consume a lot more omega-6 than they used to. Also, the cows are now fed with grains instead of grass. When they used to eat grass, that would increase the amount of omega-3 in the meats and in the dairy products. But now, because they eat mainly grains instead, well, this includes more omega-6. And when you change that ratio between omega-6 and 3, you do increase inflammation in the body. The omega-6 are transformed into arachidonic acid, which is a compound that will increase the production of inflammatory prostaglandins. But on the other hand, if there's a good ratio between omega-6 and 3, well then the inflammation is easier to control because the omega-3s are transformed into EPA, which is an element that will help control inflammation in the body. This brings us to all the different types of omega-3s because, as you know, EPA will help balance inflammation in our body. It is an anti-inflammatory, but it is also an element that will help with mood. It's a mood enhancer. People who do have a tendency towards depression, it will help lift their moods. There's also DHA, which is another omega-3. DHA is responsible to improve cognitive function, which means memory, concentration, optic nerve functions, all the functions your brain needs to function properly. ALA is the final omega-3. It is the basic omega from which all the other omega-3s can be produced. It is also the one that will have the biggest impact on heart health. This omega actually helps in prevention and in reducing the risk of recurrence of heart issues. ALA comes from flaxseed. EPA comes usually from fish oils. So if you take a supplement of flaxseed, you actually need less ALA to get control of your inflammation levels than if you have to use fish oil. The reason is The enzymes that will transform omega-6 into arachidonic acid are exactly the same enzymes that will take ALA and transform it into EPA. So if you want a good control of inflammation, you actually need to restore a proper ratio between the omega-6 and 3. But to do that, you don't need that much, because a little bit of ALA will keep the enzymes busy enough so that they do not produce as much arachidonic acid. So you actually need less EPA in the end result to get control of the inflammation. So flaxseed will help us produce EPA. But to produce DHA, it is not quite that effective. So if you just take flaxseed by itself, you do not have a complete omega-3. If you look at fish, the DHA you actually find in fish oil are not produced by the fish. They're the same than us. They're having issue producing high amounts of it. It usually comes from the seaweed they eat. So seaweed oil is actually a better source of DHA. And in the Vegomega 3 from A.Vogel, we do combine flaxseed oil, an organic flaxseed oil, with seaweed oil. That way, you do have a source of DHA, which makes it a complete omega-3. The quality of the ingredient in Vegomega 3 allows us to have a product that's easier to assimilate and absorb. The reason is, the raw material does not need any extra treatment for it to be safe for consumption. The seaweed oil inside this remedy is guaranteed without any heavy metal contamination as a raw material. So when they do extract the oil, they do not need to treat it in any way to remove elements, so that makes it more stable and makes it easier to digest. When we compare to fish oil, because of the heavy metal contamination of all the raw material, all the treatments that they need to go through makes them products that are a lot harder for the body to digest and will create a lot of digestive complaints. This is not something we observe with the Vegomega 3. This product is even suitable for vegetarian and vegan, because not only the raw material is adequate for them, but also the gel cap is made entirely of plant raw material. This is also a product that is suitable for pregnant ladies and nursing mothers. This is a supplement that's suitable for people who have allergies to fish, krill, and seafood, because it does not contain any allergen that you find in those foods. For those who are on blood thinners, you should consult your physician before taking this supplement.